Hi everyone. So today I'm going to do a tutorial of Azure Load Balancer. How you can set up Azure Load Balancer and balance the web load into several virtual machines, several web application through Azure Load Balancer. So in this tutorial you will be able to see how we can configure Windows Server 2019 and configure small web application, and how we can connect those web application into Azure Load Balancer, and how we can balance the web traffic using Load Balancer to different servers, right? So as you can see here, I'm going to create a resource group. The resource group is the entity that we are using to grouping all the resources that we are going to create in this tutorial. So load balancer configuration is a resource group. Web server VNet, I'm going to create a virtual network, and inside the virtual network I'm going to create a subnet. Within the subnet I'm going to create three Windows 2019 servers with IIS install and with a small HTML web application, and you will be able to see how the traffic is routed through these three web servers, right? So let's go to the implementation. So first of all, I'm starting from the virtual machine. I'm going to create a virtual machine. While we are creating virtual machine, we can implement the resource group, the virtual network and the subnet. So let's go and create a virtual machine. So I'm going to create a new resource group called Load Balancer Configuration, right? I put the name. Okay, the name is not a problem. So then I'm going to create a virtual machine name web server 1. So here I'm going to select West US 2. So you can select whatever region you want. If you are in a company that watching my tutorial that you want to implement Azure Load Balancer, then you should select whatever region that your company compliance required. So if not, then you can select the nearest region in your area or your country. So but in here, like I'm using West US 2 for my this tutorial. So in the availability options, I'm selecting no infrastructure redundancy required. So if you if you watch my previous tutorial of how to create a Windows Server virtual machine in this same playlist, you will be able to see some kind of a descriptive information about these availability options, each availability options and their purposes. So here I'm not going to explain it. If you want to get it in detail, go to the previous video of Windows Server creating video, and you can see it, what are the purposes of these each availability zones. So in the security type, I'm going to select standard Windows Server 2019 data center X Gen 2. This is the image that I'm going to use. The size is okay. The username I am going to use web server 1, and the password I am not going to say it. Okay. So I'm not going to public inbound ports disables. Now I'm going to disk. SSD is enough, good enough. Let's go to the networking. Still loading. Okay, so I'm going to create a new virtual network. What is the network name? Web server VNet. and the subnet name, web server subnet. Okay, and I will click OK. There's a red color is there. We'll see what is the reason. I don't know if it's a problem of name. We will be a change in the validation section. NIC network security group, we will put a basic. Okay, the configurations are okay. Go to the monitoring section and disable, and go to review and create. Let's go and see, are there any kind of validation issues. Seems like there is no validation issues. Take little more time. Right, validation passed. So the subscription, all things okay. Load balancer configuration, resource group name, no infrastructure required. Windows server, standard B2C, web server 1 is the username. Right, premium SSD LRS, it's good. Virtual network, subnet, the one, the public IP is created. So that's okay, right? So let's go and create. Now what we are doing is, like, we are configuring this web server 1. Okay, Windows server is created. Let's go to the resource. Okay, I think there will be no problem. Let's go to the virtual machine. Okay. So the web server is running. Right, you will be able to see in the overview sections the virtual network and the subnet, the public IP address. The DNS name is not configured. So now let's go to the networking section, because we need to do some kind of configurations, right? So we need RDP port access. So I'm going to create inbound port rule, because this inbound port rule allow the person who have, like, the resources who have access to web server to access the web server. So here, like, I'm going to provide my IP address, so then only my IP address allowed to access this resource. The destination, okay, the service is RDP allow. So, like, allow RDP traffic or something. We can use any name. Right, and I add. Okay, so I added inbound port rule. Okay, inbound port rule is added. So now I have to go to the overview section, and I'm going to the connect, and download the RDP file. I'm open it, connect. So I'm going to connect to the web server 1. It will take little more time. Make sure the remote computer is turned on. Okay, let's see. The remote computer should be turned on, but there is a small error, like, the web server agent is not ready. Why this is not ready? Let's check. Okay, let's go and try again. Okay, now it's connected. I mean, still at that moment, the web server might be created. That might be the reason. So I will remember and I will enter the password. Okay, connecting. Don't ask this. Okay, I have connected to web server 1. Web server 1. Okay, now we are in the inside of the server that we have configured. So let's wait a couple of minutes to deploy the server manager. Okay, server manager is deploying, so automatically the server manager interface will come and appear, and after that we can do relevant settings. Let's still it's loading. Let's wait a couple of minutes until they properly load the server manager interface. Right, okay, now it's okay. Let's go to add role and features. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install IIS Web Server, and I'm planning to deploy small HTML application into the server and access that application through as a HTTP request, as a HTTP. Right, login next, role base, feature. Okay, next. So here I'm going to select web server IIS, add features, just next and install, next and install. It will take couple of seconds, so we have to wait until the installation completed. Okay, so installation success on web server 1. So I'm going to close. So then I'm going to administrative tool, Windows administrative tool, and I am going to IIS server. Right, the sites. So this is the default website. So double click it. So you can see the IIS web server is started in the started mode. So I can restart and stop it. So now what I am going to do is I am creating, let's go to the Microsoft page. So I will show you how you can deploy a small web application. It's not actually, it's a web application, it's a single HTML file. Start without data. Right, okay. I'm going to Microsoft page because it's easy. So then I'm going to W3 school, and I'm getting small HTML code. W3 HTML. Okay, let me explain. Okay, I will copy this code, right? Then I will go to here and create no. Yeah, let's go and create notepad. Let's take a notepad and paste the code, and I will put web server 1, web server 1, and I'm going to save as. Let's put the title also. Let's change the title as well. It will help in the future in the practical. Okay, web server 1. Let's put web server 1, something like this. Should be a little bit change, okay. So save, and I'm going to the C drive, in the pub, the www root. I'm going to the select all files and index.html and I'm going to save it. Okay, now this small web application, the HTML file is saved. So now we should be able to access this HTML file through the HTTP port. HTTP paste 80. This should not be connected because this is not going to be connected. The reason is we have not enabled traffic to HTTP port. See, the website is not loaded. So let's go to the inbound port rule, and here I say my IP address because I don't want to give source as any, right? Because if I give the source as any, so anyone through the internet can access this web server through the 80 port. So I'm not going to allow any. So I'm going to provide my IP because until the configurations done, I need this port. After that, I don't need this port because after that the traffic are coming through the load balancer and the HTTP traffic communicate internally. So then, I just need to show you how the HTML look like. That's what I want. That's why I want this. So service, I am putting HTTP. Okay, allow HTTP traffic, and add another port rule is added, inbound port rule. Okay, there are 2 inbound port rule is added. So let's go and check. The application should be worked. It will take a little more time because we just now open the port rule. It will take a little more time. It's HTTPS. Sorry, it should be HTTP. Okay, you can see, right, web server 1. Now the web server 1, the HTML that we stored as a web server 1, and the page title also web server -01 is created. So that's how we can create a web application. So same as that, we have to create 2 virtual machines. We have to install IIS and we have to configure the web application as well. So let's go and create 2 more virtual machines. IP. Okay, the web server 2 also working, web server 1, web server 2. Okay, 2 web servers has been configured. Let's go to create the last server. Okay, now you can see we have created 3 servers, web server 1, web server 2, web server 3, and you can see we have enabled 3 web application, 3 HTML pages here we can access through the public IPs. So now we are going to create Azure load balancer, and we are going to connect each this server to the load balancer. Let's go to the Azure load balancer. In Azure load balancer, we are going to create a load balancer. So in the tutorial we have not provided name for the load balancer, that's fine. Load balancer configuration, LB load balancer web traffic is the name. West US standard, the IP is public. So then let's go to the front-end IP configuration. So this is the IP, so the what the front-end IP is, right? So what the front-end IP is, we are going to add the front-end IP. So when we are using when we are trying to access the web servers, we are providing this front-end IP to the user to access the web application, right? So let's go to the name, front-end IP, like LB front-end IP, something like that. So the public IP, we are going to create new one. So I am going to add the same name. So on redundant, okay, and save. Gateway load balancer, okay, none, save. So we created front-end IP configuration. So I'm going to review and create. I'm going to create the load balancer. After the load balancer is created, we can edit the backend pools, inbound roles, and the roles, right? I'm going to create the load balancer. Okay, so the load balancer is creating. It will take little more time to create the load balancer. Okay, it's easily configured. So let's go to the resource. So here let's go to the settings. So we have configured the front-end IP, right? we have configured the front-end IP. Let's go to the backend pools. We have to add the backend pools, right? So add, then I will select backend pool as a backend pool name, the virtual network. Then I will add the configuration, and I will add 3 web servers. So see here, you will be able to see the private IP address has been assigned to the each web servers, right? So let's go and add the backend pools. Okay, so the backend pool has been added. So let's go and save. The deployment is in progress. It's adding the backend pool, the backend servers are adding. Okay, so the backend pools are completed, the whole sources are added, the resource status is running, right? Then let's go and create a health probe. So I'm going to add the health probe, health probe HTTP TCP so I'm going to add HTTP 80 path and the 5 seconds. Save. So health probe is created. So here you can see, right? So in the description you can see what the purpose of the health probe. The health probes are used to check the status of the backend pool instance. So we have created the backend pool. From the backend pool we are monitoring the HTTP port status. If the health probe fails to get response from the backend instance, then no new connection will be sent to the backend instance until the health probe success again. You see, let's see in the future. So I'm going to create load balancing rule. Add. So I will select rule 1. So the front end IP is the LAN backend pool. The TCP port is 80. Backend port 80. The health probe we created already. Ideal. See, I'm keep the default configuration as it is. So and I am adding this load balancer rule. Still the root balance. Okay, load balancer rule is added. Let's go to the view details and we can check whether the status of each backend pool web servers. Okay, now you can see from the load balancer we can see what are the backend pool, what are the backend virtual machines, and here you can see like the web server 1, 2 and 3, the servers that we have created, and from the load balancer they have identified that the web servers are working fine, and that's what the status is up, right? So now we have to access the website through the front-end IP of the load balancer, because now we are going to provide so we are not going to provide each public IP to the customers, right, or the users. We are not going to provide this, because we are going to provide this public IP, this front-end public IP. Through this public front-end public IP, the customers can access the website, right? Because they access the load balancer. From the load balancer they are checking the traffic, the load. Based on the load they are routing the traffic to each servers. So let's click the load balancer and you can see the traffic is navigated to web server 1. Let's refresh and do multiple refreshes and see whether the whether this is change or not. Seems like it's not changing, right? So always go to the server 1. Let's copy and paste and paste here. Let's see whether, let's go to a different, yeah, see it is navigated different web server web server 1 and web server 2. Here, like in the web server 1, in this here in this section you can see the web server 2, it's navigated to another web server, right? So now I'm going to go to the virtual machine and I'm going to stop the web server 2, and let's see after the web server 2 is stopped, the traffic need to, right? After the web server 2 is this should be changed. Let's go and stop the web server 2. Okay, I stop the web server 2. It will take little more time. After the web server 2 is stopped, let's go and check the rule status, the backend rule status of the load balancer. Then let's go and check the web server 2 is stopped. Yeah, the web server 2 is being stopped. It will take little more time to stop the web server 2. Okay, so web server 2 is stopped. Let's go to here and check whether, yeah, still the web server traffic is going to web server 1. Let's go to the edge and check whether this traffic need to go to another. You can see, right, it's went to web server 1. From the web server 2 it's go to web server 1, the traffic, because the web server 2 was not available at the moment. So the previous, the web server 2 traffic now went to the web server 1, you can see, right? Let's go to the load balancer rule as well, because we will be able to see what are the backend that has been active now. Load balancer traffic, and let's go to the load balancing rules, and let's go to the health probe. In the health probe, no, not the health probe, we have to go to load balancing rules. Here, like, we can see the details here. Let's wait. See, now the web server 1 and web server 3 is displayed, because we shut down the web server 2. Then now web server 2 is not displayed here, not appeared here, because now the load balance is not responsible to route the traffic to the web server 2, because the web server 2 is disabled. So that's how the load balancer tutorial. So I think you might have learned something from the tutorial. So if you have any kind of question, just mention in the comment. So I will reply as soon as possible I saw your issue, right? So, and if you think this resource will, I'm not saying you to like to this video. So if you think this is good, and then put a like. So if you have any kind of a question, right? So there might be something that I can learn from you as well. So then put it in the comment section. I will see, and if you want any kind of support to implement, then I will support to you. So please provide your feedbacks, questions in the comment section. So let's we will meet with another interesting tutorial as today in the future. So I'm going to delete this resource group. So like, if you are using some kind of pay as you go, you guys are, you might, if you are willing to learn Azure, and Azure have lot of cost, so then what you can do is you can just create all the resources inside a one resource group. Then you can delete that resource group base, like with that you can save lot of cost, right? So otherwise it will be cost it will be charged to your subscription. So I'm going to delete this resource group, because I have completed the tutorial.